Correct.
Otherwise, we'll just keep talking and miss all of it. There we go. All right, so let's go. It's less than an hour after the fake news dropped, and we were live on an investor share coaching call with the community, watching the whole bloodbath play out in real time. Kyle, I think let's just get to the point. I'm just gonna throw the questions directly to what everyone wants to know. We going further down, we going further up, or is it really too soon to see?
So one thing that did happen within the fake news was that we hit the golden pocket for the macro TA from the all-time high to the all-time low golden pocket. And we always in the past, every cycle with Bitcoin, after we hit the golden pocket, we have a massive correction. So yes, it was news that brought the volatility in, but the actual move was predicted in a way. But honestly, I would not be trading right now. I would be staying out of the charts until the dust settles. Like tomorrow, the actual valid news should be coming out. And now we know, don't follow crypto Twitter for those kind of news, even if it's the SEC, because apparently they were hacked, quote unquote.
Yeah. We were watching a news story that happened live, and one of the first things that came up, the lady on the actual official news broadcast was like, well, no one takes their actual news from Twitter. You'd have to be crazy to do that. And we're sitting here in the community like, dude, everyone does that in crypto. Everyone. So like, but David, you got a slightly different mindset towards a trade setup. Talk to me what you got a macro plan. You said you got a slightly different plan. What is it?
Yeah, so this has been on my radar for quite a while this day. And as we kind of know, like, they make the price, they use the news to kind of make the price make sense, but like all that volatility and stuff, I do think it's going to go lower. And I'm sort of playing for that, but not taking a huge position on that. I'm prepared to kind of flip positions, but I'm looking for like, I'm looking at this like, yeah, this is just like trying to lure people in both ways. I've seen, the fake outs one way, the fake out the other way. And, and it's like, this is like what Kyle said, the perfect time to not be a trader, especially if you're in like heavy leverage and you're trying to pick this market and you're going back, forth. So stick to your plan is what I would say. I've got a bigger macro plan that I'm following by getting in a position today, but I definitely was sitting on the sidelines for all the volatility up till now. And now I'm okay with this small position to the downside. So yeah, I'm going with that. So we could see some the fact that there was a hack on this day is such a ritual, and it just kind of confirms the idea that this is all just ritual. And
so when you hold on, you're saying ritual. That's a very spiritual hippie way to basically say it's all planned and coordinated, right?
Sure.
And so we won't dive straight into it, but basically like, yeah, we've had this conversation several times inside the community where it's like, look, at pivotal moments, it's like the mindset of a strategy of trading with market makers instead of against them. We're aware that the market makers make the final decision. They're the ones in ultimate control. And we're talking about the SEC, BlackRock, the biggest of the biggest. The idea that they're not talking to each other, or that they don't have some kind of a little strategy, or that they're not at least passing notes at the back of the classroom. Prepare for this. Of course, they don't get rich by being stupid, and they don't get rich by not sharing ideas, which is why it goes, again, another point of confluence to the strategy to not act at this time, because it's just like stepping outside your house in the middle of a hurricane. You just don't do it. You just don't do it. You just don't. You don't do that. You look outside at a hurricane and you say, I think I should wait. I might die. And because everyone else outside is dying. You look outside and everyone's holding on for dear life, getting thrown up in the air in long positions and smashed down in short positions. And you'd say, I think I'll stay inside. Kyle can't come out and play. So like, I think the one question that it will be on a lot of people's minds, though, is, okay, can we take a couple of minutes, David, and share your screen, look at this trade setup and explain why your mindset is looking on a daily, you're looking at a daily time frame on IMX or 4 hour?
This is the daily right here.
Okay, explain this.
So real simple. For those that follow my trading, I do like to keep it simple. I don't get into complicated stuff. I like you know, very basic structure. You can see right here, we've got a very clear frying pan. Well, this would be called a muffin top because it's on the top. Normally it would be a frying pan bottom. So here's your muffin top. And, you know, you can see this gradual declination that's been going on for weeks now. And we're flirting with this 50-day moving average, which is a very important moving average. And we've tucked below it, we've pushed above it, we've ducked below it. We're hanging on it like by a string. So any kind of bad news in the crypto space, if we do get really rejected tomorrow, obviously, I think things will go down. Now knowing that that it was fake, you know, changes it because I thought, you know, we already had a decision and now we don't have a decision. So tomorrow on a positive decision, this position is going to get destroyed, of course. But yeah, this is a beautiful, beautiful structure here at a pivotal moment where we, you know, once the decision is made, this is a great place to use this 50 moving day average as your line in the sand and look for lower targets. So I'm happy with this entry. I'm happy with this structure. And then looking at it on the 4-hour, like I was saying before, we had this failure yesterday, right there, right on that 200 EMA on the 4-hour. Another thing I like to use. So, so we'll see how this plays out. And yeah.
All right. So David, take off your screen share. I want to ask you one important question before we wrap up that I think might be good for a lot of people to hear. Are you in that position at this time?
Yeah.
So you're in the position, okay? And the reason I'm going to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, the reason that you chose to still feel comfortable about this position, even though there's a hurricane outside, is because you don't pay attention to the news. So there's a lot of people that are paying a lot of attention to the news and getting caught up and getting all emotionally worked up. Why don't you let the news affect your decisions like that one that you just made? How come it doesn't change your objective on the final target?
Well, it's like, I always have a very standard practice, like standard operating procedure. And I've talked about this before. If you're going to go into a period of this volatility, normally speaking, I would say only go into it with positions that you are already like in profit with. So you've already like, you have no more skin in the game in terms of risk. So you've already taken 1, 2, maybe even 3 profit targets. Normally that would be the SOP for me. This just so happens to be basically like the ritual that I saw coming was actually like a fake out ritual. So like the fact that like the SEC got hacked is comical, first of all, on this particular day is pure comedy. And it kind of solidifies the fact that this is all ritual, and these things that, you know, that happen on the moon, they happen on the solar equinoxes, and they happen on the eclipses, on all that. It's because there's more energy in those times, and they're using that energy for these rituals. So I knew this day was a big day, going, you know, back for months. So I've been watching and waiting for it. But to your point, I probably, if I knew this thing was actually going to be decided tomorrow, still, I wouldn't be in right now. Like the fake news hack actually, like I was comfortable with the idea that we saw, like looking at the Bitcoin chart, that we like this move to the upside.
Go ahead and share your screen. We're not seeing your screen.
Sorry.
So go ahead and share it again. Yeah.
This move that we saw today, no doubt like a trap to the upside. No doubt we're seeing a trap to the downside. So this has already pulled traders in both directions and faked them out twice now. So the idea that, you know, it's going to go, we faked it up, we faked it down. Now I can see it. My thesis is that it's going to go down anyway. But again, to your point, I would be waiting until tomorrow if I knew that that was actually like a fake ritual instead of the real ritual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
They slap the news onto the candles.
Yeah.
So
basically what you're saying is we're still waiting to find out what's actually real until tomorrow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's true in different ways, because like then tomorrow we actually find out whether or not the ETF is going to be approved or not.
Oh my God. So take it off screen share again for me, David.
Yes,
So
sir.
while we're talking. Yes. No. So is there anything else to add, gentlemen?
No,
Kyle?
I just
Nothing?
I'm feeling
Just
for the
stay away.
people. We watched a graveyard being made today in the liquidation charts. So anyone who's like hurt right now, we've all been there. Like,
Yes.
just
Yeah.
yeah.
It really was. It was an interesting thing when we were on the call right before we jumped on this call that we're filming. We were on the weekly trade hunting or trade study and mindset. We do a mindset call every week. And I was expecting a lot of people to be like, dude, and they were going to have problems. And they were going to be like, I need to figure out how to stay in my position. When do I pull out? No one was sweating. No one was sweating. Everyone was like, okay, we knew this was coming. A couple of people got stopped out, but it was responsible. A couple of people were like, I'm not gonna, I was planning something. I'm gonna
Glad I
wait.
took profits. That's a lot of what
Yeah.
I heard today. Because we like just
Yeah.
took profits at our like targets and didn't like stay in it for hopium or anything
Yeah.
like that. And
Yeah.
shortly after all the fake news came out.
Hey, and that's hats off to you guys for that kind of response in the community, because that's like when you have a group of traders that aren't getting emotional, then you guys are running one heck of a group there, because that's all this really is. The ritual is to like get people so emotional that they lose their head and they do the wrong thing. So
Yeah.
that's a credit to you guys for having mindset calls every week, but just to how your community is reacting. That's great.
No, we're in a good place. We were all agreeing that this year is going to be a very good year for everyone. So, like we say at the end of every time we post anything, if you guys want to learn more about it, click the link, go check out the free webinar, get a bunch of trade strategies, bunch of mindset strategies, and you can learn more about it. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for your time, gentlemen.
Awesome. Later.